Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you for clicking in this video. Today we're going to be drawing an eye. It's a pretty simple eye, but eyes are a good thing to practice, and they teach you a lot about drawing and the shading and everything about different things. So let's get started. Here I have an eye that I got up on here. I'll put that onto the screen real quick so you can see what I'm doing. I might put it side by side. I'm not really entirely sure yet. So what we're going to start doing here is this eye is kind of sideways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a line kind of from one end of the eye to the other. Sometimes I kind of do this if it's at an odd angle. So I'm kind of guesstimating here because this eye isn't really it's not going to be proportional with anything else. So it's not really that important right now. But if I was doing an entire face or something like that, then I would need to make sure this is completely correct. Okay, so I'm not gonna worry about the tear duct there, and I'm gonna go straight down for the eye. So I'm gonna just go ahead and draw the basic shape of the eye, and this will give us an idea of where we're at. Now we're going to draw the eyeball, or the center part of the eye. I'm not really sure what it's called. I will put that on there just because I'm not good at the anatomy, which I should be because I'm in high school currently. So we'll see. Okay. Basically, try to get an idea here of how the circularness of the eye will come around here. So as you can see here, the bottom comes, and you can just barely, and it just barely hides underneath there. And then up here it cuts off quite a bit. So make sure you have pretty much like the entire bit of the eye here, and then make sure this comes up and make sure it's nice and even. Which that's not that even, I guess, but you won't be able to tell it much anyway. And it's kind of a short, lazy way to do it, but oh well. Okay, so I might speed some of this up. If I do, I apologize because I know people don't like that very much, but we'll see. Now it's important to try to leave this bit of the eye. Not as dark, because outlining is bad. Let me tell you that much. Outlining is bad. It will pretty much ruin any realism in your drawing, because there's no outlines in real life. That just does not happen. You don't see outlines around my face or your face or anything like that. Okay, so now we're gonna draw the pupil here. Now, the pupil is much smaller than some people draw it. I used to draw my pupils massive, but they're not that big. Sometimes they are. Mine are a little bigger, I guess, but it depends. I guess it depends on who you're drawing, or whose eye you're drawing, I guess, for that matter. So roughly sketching that. You don't need to be. So there is a circle. You might need to use some kind of tool to do this. I'm just kind of giving an idea. So I'm going to go ahead and shade this in. So just going to shade that in there. There we go. It's nicely shaded in. Kind of good enough. That's going to give you a basic idea of the darkness. It's just going to be dark there. I'm going to do some more. Okay. Okay, so now that we're at this point, it's sometimes a good idea to use tools. So I'm going to use a tool to kind of get this nice and, I guess, smooth in the center. So I'm going to use this, and this is just a blending stump kind of thing you can get at most hobby stores. And I'm just going to go ahead and hold it sideways here, and just put some, lightly. Now, don't go straight down because you'll break this or push it in, so it's not as pointy. You want to hold it the side like this and lightly rub on it. Actually, don't push hard on it, because that will actually sometimes put lines in the paper, and it might scrape some of the top bit off and not make as easy as the shade. And smooth is better in this case for these. Harder is not darker. So that's not the case there. You just kind of got to do it slowly and gradually. So there we go. There's that. I will actually outline this. Just get this fixed up so you can just go ahead and work that out a little bit more. Get that looking a little bit nicer, so it's not as bumpy. You can erase some, and yeah. And just in case you're wondering, this pencil is, you can find these anywhere. Like, really, these are really common pencils. They're the Dixon Ticonderoga, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure, but these are really nice drawing pencils. You can just find anywhere. If you're wanting a cheaper drawing pencil, you can just get a whole bunch of them and then use them up and throw them away or whatever you want to do. And yeah, okay. So next, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna outline, which I will erase the outlines. Don't worry. I'm gonna outline these. What are they called? These highlights. These white light parts in the eyes. That's what they call them. So one's gonna come right here, and it's gonna kind of like make a little, I don't know, shoehorn shape. I guess you can call that. I don't know what that is. And then this one is going the opposite direction. It's like a little, like a sideways triangle kind of thing. It's like a little, it's kind of bent. And these highlights really do bring out a drawing most of the time. They really do make it come alive, like an eye or something. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this. Okay, so now that we're at this part right here, this here's the top of the eye, the eyelid, or the bottom of the eyelid, I guess, on the top of the eye, whatever. This right here will be darker, following the line at the end of the eyelid to the eye. So this will, like, whatever shape this is, this will follow most of the time, and then kind of gradually come back into this, like, and kind of curve it in there, kind of curve this line coming into this outline around the eye. Okay, so we got this. Now what we're going to do is grab the blending stump and then kind of gradually pull it in. Now this will be like a whole separate tutorial on how to use these, I guess. So you just kind of pull it from the dark into the eye. Okay, so kind of just pull it in there. Just kind of pull it into the center of the eye. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now one thing you might notice after I'm doing this is that this line will be it's still quite dark. So now that you kind of got this inside bit shaded in, because it kind of goes from darker to lighter, now you can actually begin to smooth this out into the inside the eye. So just kind of make circles so you don't see the outline as much. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and fix this line up one more time. And go ahead and shade it so it's a bit more smooth. One more time. Okay. As you can see, probably that really did lighten that up a lot up here too, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get these highlights working back in here, because you don't want to put too much on top of that, or else you won't be able to get a nice light thing, because the paper is the whitest thing that's gonna be on a drawing, unless you use charcoal or something like that and you have a white pencil. But yeah, so you gotta make sure that stays white, or else you don't want to put too much on it, or else it'll be quite ruined. Okay, so a simple thing that I do to make the lines in the eye, if it's a faraway drawing, is just go ahead, and sometimes I go like this to get a basic general idea of what I'm doing. Now these will not be the finished lines on the drawing, say that much. They will be guidelines, basically. Guidelines. Get it? Lines. Never mind. So just kind of make some, I guess, stars or triangles or something like that in the middle here to kind of give you an idea. And then from here, I want you to kind of take your pencil and just kind of see this. Okay. Just kind of press just kind of flick it. Okay. So when you flick it, it will start out dark and then turn out light like that. Okay. So the line starts darker and then gets lighter, and then that's good for eyelashes, because we will be using that here when we do the eyelashes too. But that's very important to try to learn how to get that motion in there. So we'll be using that quite a bit in the drawing. So practice that, and that's what we're going to do inside of here. We're going to kind of flick it into the facing the eye, and we'll do this on the other side as well. You can make them longer, or thicker, corresponding to the eye, and I'm just kind of just doing randomness here. That works too. Okay, so we did that, and now it's starting to actually come alive. Its eye is starting to look a lot better than it was before, for sure. You can obviously see that. Whoops. You can obviously see that for sure. So now again, I'm going to grab this and flick it up some, and you're going to leave. It'll really make this star in the middle that you did here, and it will definitely make that a lot less visible, but you will still have these lines in the bottom here, but they will help out with the decline into the center of the eye, of the darkness. That's kind of dark. Okay, so also what we're going to do here is kind of pull out some graphite from the center of the pupil towards the outside. We don't want to make this very long. We want to make them so we still have a decently bright line around the this right here, this shaded part here. Yeah, it's really hard coming up with terms for things that don't exist. Like the shaded part here or the shaded part there. Like, what is there a term for that? The outside shaded part? I don't know. That just sounds confusing for you guys. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and draw it again and try to get a nice, I don't know, lightness around this way. Oops. Okay, I'll just worry about that later. It kind of looks like a flower, a dandelion, I guess, in a way, doesn't it? It kind of does. So, some lines, the outside there, it's looking nice. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and darken this back up again because it's lost some of its darkness after we did that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and actually not grab anything. I'm going to use this end of the eraser now. Now you're going to need a nice edge to something, nice hard edge to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and use this because it's on the edge of a pencil and it's quite hard. It's just hard enough for me. And inside here, I'm going to go make lines, okay? As you see, there's a line there, and I'm going to go over here and just kind of, basically what I'm doing is making varying lines here. Variabling lines, whatever the word is. Lines of different sizes, I guess, lengths, okay? And this will kind of help out with the texture of the inside of the eye, and most eyes kind of have this bright line in the middle and then gets darker, so this will help out with that as well. So the harder the better, because you want nice thin lines trying to give off the texture of the inside of the eye. This is very important to making the eye look realistic. It's the texture in the inside of it, and the shading as well. Okay, looking nice. Now, as you can see, the top of the eye here isn't as bright, so we're not going to go and do that as bright. And I think that actually works out quite well. I think that's good enough for that part. Could do a little bit anyway. Alright, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on these highlights. This highlight right here kind of comes off and does. This is gonna be perfect. This will be kind of like a semi-realistic eye, kind of realistic. Like, it doesn't look like the actual one, but look, it looks an eye. It's a realistic eye. We don't know whose eye it is, but it's a realistic one. I mean, you can use all these techniques and actually, use it to be making eyes look realistic, I think. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull off these a little bit more, because like I said, this is a lot of experimenting, and when you draw eyes, it's a lot of experimenting and trial and error, and trying to get this eye looking like the one that's in the picture. I mean, this eye's gonna look very much like the one in the picture. It's gonna be a bit more random and drawing like, but right. So here, I'm going to darken up underneath this highlight, kind of this brighter area. So usually in eyes, it kind of looks like that. This eye does not that much, but if you're going to try to make a realistic eye from your imagination, this is a good thing to do. is darken up underneath of this lighter area here. So let's go ahead and do that, and just kind of change the shape and size. Change the shape and size and positioning of these, but make sure it's in the same general area all around the eye. Okay, so now that I did that, I'm going to go ahead and once more pull out from the center of this, because these lines right here, they're still bothering me, and they still seem to be really, really lining and not smooth enough. So I'm going to grab out this smaller one here, and the larger they are, you can see what I got here, the larger these are, the darker they're going to be, kind of. So, and the less precise you're going to have these. So, this is obviously smaller and this is larger, but, the smaller ones tend to make it not as dark. So make sure you get these, or something like this, because these are very handy for drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. Pull these out a bit more into the center. Make sure you don't get rid of the lines completely, entirely. Make sure you have a little bit left, because you kind of do want a liney look, but not like, oh my gosh, it's like a stick person drawing or something. Again, make sure it's nice and smooth as well, like real life. Like we're trying to do. We're trying to imitate with paper, right? Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna go back in here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some lines in here, okay, inside of the light parts. Now, not very dark lines. If you have artist pencils, I would suggest using a lighter one to do this with, but since I do, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of add some lines in here. Just make sure they're very, very light, and spread them out quite a bit too, and try to make it come off. So whenever you do this with the varying size of the darkness right here, how we made this darker, when you made it like varying sizes, it's a good thing to try to pull them off of those, like kind of make the lines off the high parts that you did, and maybe pull some in here as well. Just kind of put some more lines in there, because getting the lines inside of the eye to look right is the hard part, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to teach is how to do that by doing steps, about making it lighter, and then adding in the lines, different steps. Okay, so we're gonna add some more lines in here and put some in the middle. Just kind of pull some from each side. Make sure you can see them visibly pretty good too. So I'm gonna pull some on this side and put some in the middle here. Some on this side, maybe put some on here. I'll speed this up. Okay, so next step is, you can see this really weird, strange, like wavy things in the inside around this area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some in with the eraser. So we're just going to go ahead and like do this thing right here. And kind of make like little arches, I guess you could say, but make sure you get a really, really nice pointy thing here to do your erasers. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to do this, and you can look them up, and I'm not even doing a tutorial on it. But if you don't have the proper tool, so just make little kind of little arches in there, and see how this really right now is making that look a lot more like the picture. Alright, so now that we got the different like end textures to this eye, I'm going to go ahead and darken it up around these little swirly things up here in the top of the eye. Just kind of darken them up a little bit. From where the swirlies are, it's where you want to start doing it. So, right here, like inside the triangles, that's facing the eye, pupil. Kind of darken those up some. And also, when doing that, you may want to actually come in here and see these little holes right here where you would have like the inside of the triangles. You may want to actually darken some of those up a little bit, so it gives it more of like like more depth into the eye, because the eye is not completely flat. It actually obviously has some like inside texture to it. So you know, here, kind of darken it up around the highlighted parts, the brighter parts, so it makes them look darker. You can't make the paper, you can't make that any brighter itself, so you make it around it, make you make around it darker, so it makes the lighters look lighter. There we go. It was hard enough, wasn't it? Okay. All right. It's looking nice. It's looking nice. Here, I'm tempted to make this dark, this little lighter, because that's what it actually looks like on the eye, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's continue darkening these up. Okay, so once more, I'm going to go back here and darken this up on the side, because that's still not very dark. It's not as dark as I like it to be. And here soon, I'm going to grab out a darker pencil. Actually, right now, I'm going to go ahead and grab out a darker pencil. Alright, so that pretty much does it for this video. As you can see, I darkened up this area here, and the next video I'm going to do is going to explain how to do the outside around here and the rest of the eye. So click here for the next tutorial, and click here to go to my channel to watch my rest of my videos. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hope to see you next tutorial. Bye.